So I'd now like to leave the floor to Cassiano Luminati, who will talk to us about Cassiano Luminati, which is a farm that works the land on an organic way.
Per l'invito, non so.
Thank you very much. I'm Swiss, I'm not Italian, so I just wanted to precise that this is not an Italian example, but it's an honor to be in the list of the Italian examples, because Italy is the most beautiful country after Switzerland. So I've been asked to talk about a project that concerns a region of Switzerland at the border with Italy. Grigionese is the name, and I'm going to talk about this project that is pushing the region towards a 100% organic farming. It's a governance project, so it's a project that is rooted in the territory, culture, but it looks at the future development. It's a mountain area, an area that is 150 kilometers far from Milan. There's the Red Railway, the Bernina Railway, as you have seen in the first slide. The train starting from Tirano going to St. Moritz, which is a UNESCO World Heritage. We are in between St. Moritz, Livigno and Bormio, and we are in between. We are in between touristic destinations that are very well known, and we're not as well known as they are. But this is not a disadvantage. Let's start from the basis. There are 5 main pillars: the landscape, skills, competences, mobility, and finance. Everything was created to enhance our landscape and naturalistic patrimony heritage, and it's part of the UNESCO World Heritage since 2008, together with the Bernina Railway. I'm going to explain you the context. How did we get to the almost 100% organic farming? It all started with the pioneers of organic farming, beginning of the 70s, end of 70s, beginning of 80s. They started with organic farming in Valposchiavo with special herbs, medical herbs. And from that, we then moved to the chain of milk as well. In 2008, I said it, I just mentioned it, the Bernina Railway became UNESCO World Heritage, the third railway, which is part of the UNESCO World Heritage. The other one is the Darjeeling one. We have a representative of the Darjeeling one, and the third one in December in Austria. The concept of the application was complex. It's 120 kilometers from Tirano to Coira in the Canton Grigioni, and the main aspect was the railway one. It has an important technical engineering heritage, but the railway without the territory is nothing. So in the application, we were part of the applications, application form. So it's the railway and everything you can see from the train. So all the images you know of the red train, Bernina Railway, are the Valposchiavo Valley, because it's a panoramic railway. So the landscape has an important role. So there was an engagement from the politicians as well to enhance and preserve this cultural landscape, a cultural landscape which is strictly linked to agriculture. From this, a series of activities were developed, and in 2012, the project 100% Organic was launched during a conference of environment ministers of the Alps. And I launched this project presenting 5 main elements, 5 pillars. This is what I presented to ministers in 2012. It presents the idea of bringing the concept of smart city, the 5 main areas of smart cities, in a rural area. Because we must say UNESCO recognizes the landscape and the territory, but our fear was to become a museum, to become a territory that you look at and where you cannot do anything. But we live there and we want to live there, do things there, and we want to stay there in the mountains. And because this is another problem, the fact that people are moving away from the mountain areas. So the idea of bringing these principles of smart cities in a rural area, mountain area, as you could see, allows us to create the basis to go on making life attractive on the territory. Valposchiavo is organic at 96% today. We lack 4%. There are around 100 farms. So 96% is the territory with biodynamic and organic farming methods. So it's a record, international record, for the size of the area as well and for the approach. The objective is to create a territory certification, not to certificate the producers, but to certificate the territory. And BioSwiss is interested in this. It's the main entity for certifications in Switzerland. What does 100% organic means for a territory? What are the approaches? So we have to act at all levels of the territory governance, starting from planning and landscape. Cultural landscape linked to agriculture, as I said before, allowing us to enhance, to make the best of our cultural and agricultural tradition in the territory. We invested a lot in education and training at all levels, linking it to the production chains. For example, we protect old buildings and walls, dry walls. And we inserted for the first time the agricultural land as agricultural land, not as a result of something that we can use differently. It's inserted in a management plan of agricultural areas encompassing all the farms in the territory, from 400 meters on sea level to over 2,000 near the glaciers, Pitzpalu. And we have many different cultures at the lower level and different areas. So the territory is completely used. And the whole landscape is lived and used and exploited, as I said, at all levels. So this has been inserted in the regional agricultural plan, and it's been very difficult because there are many different interests involved. Everybody's implication was very important, from agriculture to forest to the building construction sector, that considers the fact that we do not want to build anything like an amputation, and the fact that we want to use what has already been built is as a limitation. We have been working to developing skills and competencies on the territory. I'm gonna make one example. The one with dry stone walls. We have examples in Valtellina in Italy. We have terraces for agriculture. the landscape is modified by it as well. In the 70s, we only had lands and grazing lands, and now we're going to different crops cultivation. So the landscape is going back to the pictures of the 30s, the 40s. That is what people think about when we ask them. So when we ask the population, what do you want to give to the territory as a landscape, from a landscape perspective, they want to have a productive agricultural landscape to create a touristic development as well. So we worked on the creation of a new professional that we are trying to, we want to be recognized at the national level and international level as well, because we have been working with the Lombardy region to introduce this kind of recognition here as well, which is the expert of dry stone walls for their restoration. So the ability to build dry stone walls would be certified, and it would have a value in itself. And there are countries like Italy, France, Switzerland, and Peru that are interested in this. So we've been working on that. We spread the news that this training is necessary, and this is interesting not just for agriculture but for railway as well. Many works of the railway require the skills, the competences linked to dry stone walls construction. So we want to create professionals that would be interesting in this direction. We have also been working on the network. I believe that it is very important to create networks of knowledge, of regions dealing with similar activities, and we have been working to get the recognition of traditional knowledge of the Alps. If you want to have a look at the website, you can. It's a ECHI project, ECHI, intangiblesearch.eu. You will find many agricultural knowledge that has been inserted in this portal, because the base to move towards the future is to know what we had in the past and preserve it. Then resources and energy. We have hydroelectricity in the mountains, but we integrated agriculture in a project for a biogas plant and a biomass plant for the heating in the territory. We are working on projects to use the solar energy as well. So the region is using energy that is locally produced. So again, 100% organic and local. An important aspect is mobility. Being able to work on the mobility in the territory is extremely important, which is not just circumscribed inside the territory, but it is related to the outside. So we need to improve connections towards Milan of public transport, and we inserted activities to improve mobility. There's 1 million people using the Bernina railway. Many of them come by bus. They leave passengers at the beginning of the railway station, of the railway, and then the bus, empty, travels through this organic valley. So this is something that doesn't have any sense. And this is not compatible with our policies. And I believe that in 2016 we should be able to discuss about gasoline traffic and remove it. Then we have the governance pillar. We try to involve population in all the discussions and decisions. We've been working with all levels of the territory, from farmers to those who are responsible for the processing of food and politicians, in order to reach a common vision. Of course, in the beginning it was a visionary project. When we started to talk about Smart Valley in 2012, people thought I had been living for too long in city, and that I was talking about things that did not belong to the territory. Now we are in 2016, and I can say that this project has given the possibility to develop a healthy economy on the territory. There are hotels and restaurants in the area that made an engagement to buy local products. This is one of a common issue, the restoration not using local products. They were not obliged to do that. 10 of the largest restaurants in the area subscribed an agreement, and they now bring on their tables typical local products. So I wait for you in Valposchiavo. It's not very far away, and we will have the chance to drink a Swiss coffee in the square and to discuss about this project. Thank you very much.